for me.
Yeah,
I
but that's
enjoyed it.
Hey, listen, you got to experience everything.
Yeah, no, well
big
said.
star that you are.
Well young, yeah.
Right.
7 minutes, okay, you have speed.
Okay, congratulations, Tom. You did a spectacular job in this film. And,
Thanks very much.
Oh, you're very welcome. And let's get right to the chase here because,
All right.
you know, it's a little bit of a different Malfoy we see in this. Was it hard to transition him the way you did?
Yeah, I think he's sort of been purposefully played down as this sort of two-dimensional, sort of, you know, one-sided bully. So this year it was kind of strange knowing that we'd have to go back there and completely sort of reinvent him. And make him a lot darker because he's, you know, he's no longer calling Harry names. He's trying to break his nose and all sorts of other stuff. But also make him a hell of a lot more vulnerable and make him seem like, you know, he's not really wants to do this, and he's really a victim of circumstances more than anything, I think.
Is it good or bad that we kind of feel a little sorry for him?
That's great. That was the idea. I mean, the idea is that by the end of it, you think, hold on a second, wow, maybe we've misread this guy. Maybe he is just you know, he's a normal kid surrounded by some of the worst influences children could be around. You know, Bellatrix and Lucius are pretty awful parents, I think, or pretty awful parenting roles, definitely.
Yeah, although I love Jason Isaacs, he's a bit of a wacko in the film.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so strange because he's such a charming man, and then they roll cameras and he turns into this. Well, they're all the same. Helena's even worse. I mean, she's such a joy, and then she turns into this complete nightmare when they roll cameras. Yeah, it's kind of scary.
So tell me about your one-on-one with good old Daniel in the bathroom there.
Yeah, it sounds so wrong, doesn't it? Every time we say it. Oh, me and Daniel had a one fight in the bathroom. God, it sounds wrong. Yeah, no, it was great. We've been building up to it for quite a while, you know, and it was really nice for us actually because they rigged the whole bathroom literally like with explosives. So every time we did this with the wand, something else blew up, which is good for us. Very, very exciting.
It's amazing, you know, when you look at it, Tom, who was on the sets with you, you know, the actors, the veteran actors, and then of course Daniel and Rupert. Now, who, when you look back, who's kind of mentored you, or who have you learned from?
That's a tricky one. I mean, you never really get the opportunity to say, oh, you know, how do we do this and how do we do that? I mean, personally, David Yates has been my person that's really mentored me. I don't really feel like I've ever had to really act before this film, just sort of going along with it. Whereas this film, I was quite terrified at the prospect that I was going to have to do something quite serious. And I feel that David really not only helped me get through it, he knew exactly what to say, which was very helpful for me.
Wow. And, you know, I said this to you last night at the premiere, but I just found it fascinating to watch you in this movie. I thought you did such a great job because the thing about Malfoy, especially, that he's so concentrated. A lot of it's in his stare, it's in his eye, and you really got it. Like, you were scary, dude.
Brilliant. No, thank you. Thank you.
Where do you have to go to play him?
I don't know, in a slightly strange place, I guess. You know, you have to sort of, usually when you're doing these sorts of things, you can talk to the cast and the crew in between takes and have a laugh, and then they roll cameras and you sort of jump back into this thing. But to get in, it's just for his slightly, I mean, it was David's, purely his idea of this sort of ghost-like, glazy-eyed image, you know, and everything was slowed down and everything was almost in slow motion for him. So I hate to say it, but staring at a wall for about 20 minutes before he starts shooting and just pacing up and down and sort of really letting go of any sort of conscious thought. It was a lot of fun, actually. I enjoyed it. I miss it. I wish I could do it again.
Yeah, it was great. A great performance. Okay, there seems to be a lot of internet buzz about Malfoy's hair. Now, every film, it's a little different, but do you have any, you know, thoughts on how you'd like his hair to look?
Well, I think non-blonde is out of the question. I think we're well and truly established that his hair is white. Where he gets the time to dye it, I don't know. I mean, in the middle of all these dark tasks, you wouldn't have thought he'd have time to go to the salon.
They must have one at Hogwarts, don't you think?
I guess. Or maybe it's a spell, you know, Pacificus Blondus or something like that. That's terrible, I know. But yeah, I'm sure it's a lot easier than what I have to go through.
you of course, are an accomplished musician. The felt beats are awesome. I mean,
wow.
I've listened to music and on MySpace and everything. My son's a rocker, too. Like, he's got his own band. He's 17.
Okay.
Just getting a plug in there. No, but he, but seriously, it's great music, and I want to know, like, when you're on set and there's downtime, do you bring the guitar out? Do you have kind of sing-alongs with everybody?
I wouldn't go as far as sing-alongs, but yeah, I mean, that's where I learned to play. I mean, obviously there is a bit of a waiting, you know, process that sometimes happens at these on set. So in the dressing room, yeah, I picked up a guitar once and sort of every day learned slightly more, and that's certainly where I do. That's where I've written most of the stuff that you may have listened to. Yeah.
So when are we gonna, you know, have a full-out album coming? Or
yeah,
what's going on there?
There's bits on iTunes and there's bits on YouTube and stuff like that. I mean, I don't take myself seriously enough to do that. I don't think. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but I'm happy to do it as a, you know, everything that I have recorded is like one take, you know, literally one microphone, and it's certainly not been in a studio, not mastered or mixed down, none of that stuff. I just do it for fun, and anyone who wants to sort of come along and enjoy it, then I'm very grateful.
Well, that's awesome. Well, hopefully we'll see you touring in Canada soon.
Hey, one day, you never know, you never know. I've always said, actually, if I was ever going to do a concert, which I doubt I would definitely do it in North America, definitely.
We're going to hold you up to that.
All right.
Okay, now here's a question for you, because it's so impressive to see you and Daniel and Emma and Rupert and all of you. You know, you've grown up. We've seen you since you keep getting older and older, and you've all become. You're just wonderful. You're wonderful. Like, honestly, you don't seem affected by it. How do you keep a normal head?
I don't know. I think it's extraordinarily lucky, more than anything, because obviously we were cast certainly more so for Dan, Rupert, and Emma, because the pressures they have to deal with, you know, day to day, far extend mine. So I think it's amazing that not only are they ridiculously professional and level-headed, but incredibly talented. They've all grown up to be, you know, massively established actors, I think. But personally, it's a good crew. We have a very down-to-earth crew who's not going to let anyone get above themselves. So, and the great cast. I mean, Michael Gambon's, and I'm just staring at his picture. He's very quick to remind you of where you came from, and you know, he doesn't take himself seriously, so it's very hard for us to.
Is it still overwhelming to, you know, do a premiere line, things like that, and you see these thousands of fans? Like, I heard London was just crazy.
It was nuts, and it was the heavens open with rain, and people just didn't care. They were just, you know, screaming with pleasure. So. It's we don't get used to it, that's for sure. But it's nice that we get a couple of nights a year to give an opportunity to really thank the fans who've kept the franchise going. Really, they're the ones who definitely deserve the thanks.
Do you have a lot of time to hang out with Daniel and Emma and Rupert on set, and you guys give each other a hard time, or it's just a lot of kidding around?
Oh no, it's good fun. It's good fun, I promise. Yeah, we spend most of the day off set, so yeah, there's plenty of opportunities to hang out and have a good time, yeah.
Well, you've done a really, really wonderful job in this film.
Thank you. That really means a lot to me.
You're very welcome, and best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Nice talking to you.
Thank you for the interview. That was
incredibly
well